edition.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Saturday morning D&D show. My name is Jordan, with a silent PH in the middle, and I am joined always by my wonderful co-host, Sir Lucian, over at Sir Lucian Gaming. Say hello, sir.
Mostly always. Maybe
Mostly
not quite
always. Last week was a little iffy. We actually had I don't know if you caught the episode, but we had...
You had a very
really
controversial guest as far as I'm concerned. No, I'm just kidding. Lex is great.
No, Lex is awesome. And we talked about the OSR a lot because he loves the OSR.
I did watch it. Yep.
And Dungeon Crawl Classics. And
I made all my notes where I disagree with him so that I could come back on today's show and correct, all the things he was saying.
But it got me thinking of, it'd be a good video, like... back in the day, Matt Colville and Adam Coble and Matt Mercer, they were doing these roundtable discussions a lot, where they would just kind of like talk about D&D. And I want to do one of those, but I want to get like somebody who really knows like second edition Dungeons & Dragons and talk to us like, why is that important? And then I want to find somebody who knows third edition and be like, why is that important? And then I want to talk about the importance of fourth edition, because that's what I played a whole bunch, and how all of those have evolved. So I think like 3-hour-long videos of just like people talking about that would be really cool. And then I was like, that would also be cool if we could take those same players and run like, okay, we're going to run a second edition one shot, and we're going to run a third edition one shot. So,
and like a quintessential one that really shows exactly what that edition was about.
Yeah. And they're all out there. Like, that would be really cool. Like, this is just a great third edition module, or this is like the fourth edition module.
This was the experience. This is what you were getting.
That would be fun. It would also be fun to do the same module that's been updated. So like
different rules to
see. White Plume Mountain is in Tales of the Yawning Portal. I don't know if White Plume Mountain was updated for third edition, but like we could play it second edition, we could play it third edition and fifth edition. Like that would be kind of fun to be like, wow, how is this different? I don't know. Now we're the Saturday morning D&D show where we just talk about show videos for Jordan's YouTube channel, but like that's what I've been thinking of lately. That's going to take a lot of effort. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's kind of exciting.
So look for that next week is what he's saying.
No. But lots of stuff going on in the D&D world. It's PAX 2020 online. I don't know if any of you guys are Penny Arcade fans. I am, because of Acquisitions Incorporated, or that's how I'm tying it into this show. But I love Penny Arcade. They're really just good people too. They're just nice.
Yeah, they're the kind of people you want to be your friends.
Yeah. And they have so PAX is online, but they made a Discord. And I don't know if you guys have checked this out, but it's kind of fun. They have a bunch of like Easter eggs and little mini games, and they've coded a bunch of stuff into it. And so I'd search the Penny Arcade Discord. It's only going to last this week, and then they're taking it down.
They're going to shut it down?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So it's just like, it is this convention Discord, and it's kind of cool.
A seasonal Discord.
You can get cool badges. You can run around and like, you can do a lot of stuff and talk to people. And they have a line simulator where you're just like pretending you're in a line waiting for something, and you talk to random strangers. And so I've been having a lot of fun kind of like creeping through here and just having a good time. People are, dumping their cosplay pictures from older conventions, but it's like, this is the cosplay.
The cosplayers are getting hit hard right now. They need a place to be able to show off the work they've been putting in. Yeah, because that's always a big thing for them, walking around those hallways and having
Instagram only goes so far.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Are you doing any games? Did you sign up for any?
I have not, no. But mostly because I just don't have the time, I'll be honest. We were just talking about how busy I am, Lucian. And I've got all these videos to edit, and editing takes so much time. But no, there was a patron and friend of the show, Vincent. He was saying that there's like games? A Call of Cthulhu game going out. And we've been talking about how I want to play Call of Cthulhu, and that would be really fun to sign up for like a one-shot, but no, there's a whole D&D section to sign up for games. It's apparently free, which is kind of cool.
Well, you haven't signed up for any of the online convention games yet, have you? This year? None? Are you going to do D&D Celebration? You're going to do, because they're doing Adventure League games there.
I know, yeah. And getting into that, they're going to unveil some of the new subclasses that are in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. And so I thought that would be really cool to play that. But no, I haven't really signed up for anything. I don't think I want a GM or be a dungeon master for that, but playing would be kind of fun. So
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe I should sign up.
I had a blast at Gen Con. I mean, I got 2 games that were terrible.
Yeah.
And then I got 4 games that were great. So, I mean, you're going to get some hit and miss depending on what's going on. But, man, a couple of them were really good. So
and you can make some really cool new friends, too. Like across the world friends, I should say. Yeah. So, anyway, I don't know. I should. We're talking about it. I should make myself a note. Jordan, sign up for a game. That can be my report after the D&D celebration.
And when you said PAX, you have there's lots of PAXs. So what PAX is happening right now? Is it unplugged or is it?
No. This was
West, right?
This was supposed to be PAX Labor Day in Seattle, I think.
Yeah, so PAX West then.
But they're just calling it PAX Online.
Yeah. Okay.
And PAX Unplugged is in December, and that's in Pennsylvania, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Or November, I thought is when I went.
Oh, November, December, yeah, something like that.
Somewhere.
And I mean, I'm assuming that that's also going to be canceled, so I don't know what's going to happen there.
I assume it'll be online.
Yeah, they might do it online. Well, depending on how successful this one is. So yeah.
Yeah.
But like physical, I mean, playing video games is one thing, and PAX is generally about video games with a tabletop side. RPGs are one thing to play online. We have resources to do that. But like if you're trying to debut your new board game, with all of like the custom pieces you carved out of wood, it's a little harder to do that.
You got to do Twitch shows and whatever. But PAX Unplugged is more of the board game style of PAX than is any of the other stuff.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Speaking of D&D Celebration, that is next week, I believe, the 19th and the 20th of September.
Yeah, and the book release is just in a few days.
Yeah, the book releases on the 15th, Rime of the Frostmaiden. It looks really, really interesting. I'm excited, and I'm trying to figure out where, because I always want to run these when they come out, and I just never get a chance to. But I'm trying to figure out if I should, because I have my home game people, and we haven't met in forever. And those are the ones that are in the Shadowfell that happened a long time ago. And I'm wondering if I should just be like, hey, twice a month, do you guys want to take a Friday? Because we're all stuck at home and we'll dip our toes into playing online. And maybe we'll start Rime of the Frostmaiden. And maybe I'll start them at 5th level or something just to get through it in a faster fashion, because I like the idea of starting at 1st level. But if you have experienced players, I feel like it's just not fun. But I could be wrong.
At least 3rd. I think 5th is good because that can give your players a real wide landscape to come up with some really cool characters. And if they get excited about building characters, you get more people showing up when you actually schedule them. So I like that 3rd to 5 range to start those campaigns out and just say, come up with something cool and unique and fun that you want to play, and some concept that you've had, and here we want to play on this day. It sounds pretty fun.
It's really fun. I don't know. So there's been a couple of secrets coming out, Rime of the Frostmaiden, some release details. Have you been checking any of them out?
I've looked at a few here. I almost wanted to wait until I got the book to really just go reading through it. I noticed there was, they've done a few lore you should knows. They did a couple on the Magic the Gathering book. They've done a couple on this one now. And I believe we're going to see more of it probably at the D&D
Celebration.
We'll see some adventure stuff going on with that. There's a lore you should know out there right now called the 10 Towns. For those of you that are lore fanatics like Jordan is, you should recognize the 10 Towns. Something that's been around for a while up near the Icewind Dale area. It talks about how, Ed Greenwood kind of created the area, but then our favorite Drist author comes in and really kind of grabs it because nobody had done much with it and put in a huge story there. They talk about that. The Rime of the Frostmaiden happens after, what's the book? Is it called the Crystal Shard or the something Shard? Or
the Crystal Shard is a book. So
so it's about 100 years after that. Although he kind of Chris Perkins reconfirmed that they don't put a specific date. They don't hold you to that. But if you wanted to have a general date, it was that 1490 2-ish thing, whereas that book was happening in the 13 somethings.
Yeah, they're trying to be vague on, and that's been frustrating me and a lot of fans from trying to put a timeline together. But honestly, to keep it a more fluid and living world, I think it's smart to be like, this is happening, and then after you save the world from the Frostmaiden, if that is indeed the adventure, I have not read it yet, then you can be like, oh, we're going to go to the Underdark and do Out of the Abyss. But didn't Out of the Abyss happen before? So we can't really play it. And you're preventing arguments like that. You're just like, just go have fun. I kind of like the idea of like 5 cataclysmic events just happening in Faerun at the same time, and everybody stops and saves them.
So have you done much on the 10 towns? I don't know if that's shown up on your channel.
I have talked about 10 towns, and I made an Icewind Dale video where I kind of went into detail about 10 towns. So if you're interested,
because it sounds like a cool place. It sounds like
it's
it's a grouping of settlements that are nearest to each other. They support each other, but it's still a harsh land up there.
Yeah. And that's the reason they support each other, is because it is so harsh. And they're like, we could fight and war with each other, but that's not. Like, me taking your resources by force is not nearly as good as being like, I've got fish. Can I have some grain? Okay, yeah. Because I can't survive on fish alone. I need something else. And so it's, I think that, it's kind of cool because you think about it and it's like, if you're in this terrible thing, it's smarter to work together. Terrible thing being the snowy environment that is.
Well, and the 3 words that I thought really encapsulated, Chris Perkins had mentioned them, and he said isolation, secrecy, and survival. These are the 3 things that are up there, and it's like a place where people go that they don't want to be found, and they don't want people to know about their past. It's a harsh, hard, if you're not hard enough, you're not going to survive kind of place, and there's nobody coming to save you. It's isolated. It's out there. So it was like this. If you're really looking for a campaign that's going to drive those things in there, this is the one. This one is really probably going to capture that kind of effect. And what it made me think of when I was listening to that video was I watched the series on AMC called Hell on Wheels, which was about the trains moving across the United States, and 2 different train companies trying to get across at the same time, but they were going through these areas that are basically unsupported. They're out in the middle of nowhere, and how those types of people, what types of people are drawn to that, what kinds of things happen when you're out in a place like that, and some of the craziness that goes around with that. And that made me think, even though that's not a snowy landscape, the ideas and the storylines that were happening in that show made me think they would fit really well in a book like this. But also, we've talked about all the John Carpenter movies that would, like if you want to do a thing based, this is it. This is the one. So.
No, I'm really excited, and I hope I'm not hyping it up too much, because Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus I was very excited for, and then the more I was reading it, I was just like, I don't think I want to run this adventure. Like, I think it would be a fine adventure, but it's just not
the
what
idea
I
of it was good, but maybe the execution wasn't where
or it was, and I shouldn't say it was bad. I just say it wasn't what I wanted, and I'm not entirely sure what I wanted, but it wasn't that kind of a thing. It's, I don't know.
And that's an important distinction, I think, on everything we always say too, is the idea is we have this idea of what we want, and sometimes it makes it that, and sometimes it doesn't. That doesn't make the product bad or doesn't make it good. It's just, we were thinking it might be something else. Yeah. No big deal. Somebody else, I'm sure there are plenty that love it. Like I fell in love with Tomb of Annihilation, had no idea I would, and fell in love with that module. Waterdeep was okay. I heard a lot of people loved Waterdeep. I'm more into Dungeon of the Mad Mage. It's a little bit more fun for me than that one. I'm interested, and I know you loved Saltmarsh and all that.
Yeah,
so that
I really did.
Your favorite ones, and the way that came out. So it's just like we all have our little things that kind of tick the boxes for us and say, God, this has been really good. And this has been really rememberable. And these are the kinds of adventures and stories I like to run and tell. So I don't know. I want this one to be good, but I'm also a little bit fearful like you that once I read it, maybe it won't be all the stuff that I want. Cause I'm full on John Carpenter, man. Like I'm full on, I want The Thing, I want Aliens, I want, so if it's not that, I'll be let down, but it's not because it's, like you said, a bad product. It's just, I hyped it up in my head.
Yeah. And we'll see. I think I'm going to try maybe, well, I'm working a lot with my day job, my muggle job. But I'm going to try real hard to read through it before next Saturday morning D&D show, and then we can talk about it. And we will not have spoilers, because I'm a big fan of not having spoilers.
Yeah,
even in my YouTube channel, where I try to make videos being like, you know, here's the lore you should know before playing this adventure. Those are all like, that's just general knowledge in the region kind of a thing. I don't like to give spoilers. So
yeah, same with my videos on the should you buy videos. I always made sure not to give out any of the spoilers of the story, but only told things in there like, if you're a player, you might be interested because it's added this class or it's added this background or something, or if you're a DM, these things are interesting to you. But those stories are fun. You don't want to spoil them for everybody. You want to live them when they happen. You don't want to hear about them from somebody else.
and then you can like, oh, you've played Rime of the Frostmaiden? I did too. What did you do when the fire elemental came out of the ice pit? And you're like, what? Yeah. It was fun to talk to people about that, have those shared experiences.
I had that really good experience with Storm King's Thunder, because I had one group that are now I'm DM for them, but they had played Storm King's Thunder with another DM. I ran Storm King's Thunder for a group, and then we got to compare, well, what did your group go and do? And what things did you do? And how did you guys tackle this thing? And it was really fun to be able to compare and see how they were both widely different, but they had pieces that were similar. And we all had really a lot of fun playing it. So.
That's cool. And then, of course, with Rime of the Frostmaiden, we're getting Season 10 of Adventures League. And I have not been playing Adventures League. I have not been keeping up with it. But these look like some really cool... they basically announced the modules that are coming with Season 10. So they have Ice Road Trackers, which is just really funny. And that's like level range 1 to 2, but it's optimized for first. And then Into the Frozen North, Gnashing Teeth, Divining Evil, Cold Benevolence, and then the Great Knucklehead Rally. And Knucklehead refers to Knucklehead Trout, which are unique to Icewind Dale, and they've got kind of an ivory head, and people make they make artwork and stuff out of them called scrimshaw. Now, anyway, a lot of these are cool. Some names: Justice Armin wrote one of them. Celeste Conowitch wrote another. Some really cool people writing Adventures League. And with Adventures League came an announcement, a tweet, that during the D&D celebration, you'll be able to play some of these through their channels. They're not going to release them free or anything. But some of the new classes will be featured. And so you have the potential of playing the Genie Warlock or the Wild Magic Barbarian, which are now, both of them are now confirmed to be in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. The Wild Magic Barbarian apparently is the Wild Soul Barbarian in UA, which is like a Feywild Magic Barbarian. That is kind of a cool concept, not something that I was thinking of playing, but it's, if you wanted to be an Eladrin Barbarian, it's kind of, you've got this innate magic in you, and I don't know, it's kind of fun. So
I absolutely hate that in the notes you abbreviated it as Taco.
No, that's the official abbreviation. Official Jordan with a PH abbreviation is TA, capital C, little O, capital E. It is Taco. That is Tasha's Cauldron of Everything.
Taco.
Yeah. So I'm excited for Taco to come out. It's going to be great.
Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, and then I was looking at the Wild Soul Barbarian. It had that one where there was like wild magic surges that did interesting stuff. But it was a D8 channel, or a D8 instead of a D20, like the Wild Magic Sorcerer. So we might get more of these, but some of them were really like lots of like light that does 2d8 damage, and then some of them was just grass grows around you from 10 feet, and I don't know.
Those good random effects are fun though to role play out for, especially if you're into role playing your character that way, and you love the idea of something being thrown at you that you have to just kind of roll with. Those are fun mechanics.
I really like the Genie Warlock. And if you guys follow me on Twitter, I was lamenting, I think last night, because I was re-looking at the Genie Warlock, because I was thinking, the next character I play, like I've always wanted to play a Warlock, and I think the Genie Warlock is the one I want to play, because I love the idea of a pact with a genie. I love Al-Qadim, and I love the Middle Eastern mythology and stuff, and I always thought that was really interesting. And so this seems like something that I really want to play, and I'm really excited to be able to play it. But then it got me thinking about the Spore Druid, and I was so excited to play the Spore Druid, and I had this Turtle Spore Druid all made, and I was really excited for him. And then Ravnica came out, it was printed, and I don't like using the word nerf. I think they balanced it correctly, but at the same time, they added too many mechanics. So rather than just doing like an extra 3 poison damage on every turn or something, now the enemy had to make a save. And I just felt like your turn was not efficient in that I want to do this. And then we have to roll 3 different saves to see if I A hit, to see if he B takes damage. And then I have to roll the extra damage, but not for, and it just got too complicated. I was like, it was much more fun when it was just, and I do an additional 3 points of damage on that because he's in my like poison area. But, and then there were some other things that I was kind of sad about, but I like the idea of the Spore Druid. So I'm sad. Or I'm not sad because I don't know the Genie Warlock, but I wonder if it's going to get totally changed. And all of a sudden that thing, going back to our conversation, I don't know what it is that I want out of the Genie Warlock, but I wonder if they're going to take that away. But anyway,
I'm hearing a lot of fear from Jordan. He's fearing Rime at the Frostmaiden's not going to be good. He's fearing the Genie Warlock's not going to be good. Lots of fear going on.
I want to play. Yeah, I do. But I really am excited for the Genie Warlock. I think that's going to be my new favorite thing.
I think we're all going to love that book when it comes out.
What book? Sorry. Tasha's?
When that book comes out, I think we're all going to love it because everybody's going to be able to find something, even if it's not like maybe Genie you bounce off of because it's after they do the rewrite, you're not into it. You'll find something else in there where you go, oh my God, this is the thing that's really good. There'll still be something in there.
I was even thinking because the Genie Warlock has like a bottle or a ring or something like that, a lamp, and as an action you can go inside of it. And at 10th level or something, you can bring your party in and they can have a short rest in 10 minutes as opposed to like a couple hours.
Nice.
And I thought that was really cool. But you know what? That could easily be a magic item. Like, and then there's a whole quest where a genie is actively like, I want my lamp back. And they're like, we kind of use it for short rests. So I don't want to give it back to you. And I have to think about it like that because there's a lot of times where the mechanic I want my character to be able to do, well, then make a magic item that does that, like that. There's nothing stopping it. So, but I want to play that Warlock. So
well, I'm interested to see what the rule changes are going to be for Adventure League. I've only played ever a couple of games here or there. I've never dived into Adventure League. Not like you did in the beginning. Back when we first started the show, you were pretty deep into Adventure League early on. And then I did a few games here and there. I'm still interested to see where the rules are changing, what they're trying to do, because I always like to understand how they're trying to change the concept of structured play, right? And how that's going to affect, or does it help to promote more people to try that style? Or are they still creating rules that people are like, I don't like how that works, or
well, yeah,
not the thing that I want to play.
And I left right when they switched the XP and magic item system. Yeah. So like you now leveled up based on how many sessions you joined, not how many monsters you killed or hours you played or something. It was really weird. And then on top of that, you could only have certain magic items and they couldn't cross-pollinate. So I couldn't get the Ring of Winter from Tomb of Annihilation and pull it into Ravenloft. And they were like, well, that just doesn't work. So it almost made it that I had to have my Ravenloft character and I had to have this character. And playing more characters, that's fine. But if you think about it, that was kind of the beauty of D&D is like, oh, I got this Wand of Lightning. Not in Storm King's Thunder, you didn't. Like, you're not using that here. And that's kind of, I don't know. That's
and like Shatzar says in chat, he's like, are we going to get Player's Handbook +1, but now we've got so many books. Is that really enough to let people be able to pick the different things that are out there? Because if you pick Tasha's, then you don't get, something from Xanathar's, or if you pick Xanathar's, you don't get something from Tasha's. Or even like in that, Tasha's changes some rules or rewrites some rules for some things that had already been published. So do you pick the 1+ that has the one rule published one way, or do you pick the rules that are published, or is there, I'm sure what you're supposed to do is talk with the DM, and I'm sure they'll have rules about what can or can't work. And I'm waiting to see what those are. I haven't dived into them yet this year. It's cool that they released kind of the idea of what adventures are you going to get to play, but I'm interested to see the changes for what they're going to try to do with season 10.
Yeah.
Now we're almost over. The year's almost done. I don't know. I guess maybe season 10 is for 2021 mostly.
Yeah. They always start with the big story release. So the last one was Baldur's Gate, and that was September of 2019. So
yeah,
it makes sense that it's now. And yeah, I just checked. The Adventure League Player's Guide on the Dungeon Masters Guild is still version 9.1. So we don't know if they're going to change it. A lot of people are speculating that it's not going to be PHB +1 because, I don't know, it's kind of like, mostly spells. Because if you are, I really want to play a College of Swords Bard, well, then you're going to take, PHB plus Xanathars, but the problem is if I wanted to be a Blade Singer, then you were PHB plus Sword Coast Adventures Guide, and then you missed out on all of the Tasha spells, all of the spells in Xanathars. So I wonder if they're going to just say, I don't know. Mostly magic and feats is where it comes into a problem. Yeah.
Oh, I ran into it when I was trying to pick a race out of like Mordenkainen's.
Oh, that's true. Races, yeah.
Solos. But then I wanted to play a class from one of the class books, and that's where I kept running into the problem when I was doing Adventure League stuff, because I wanted to have a fun, cool, interesting race that I had not played yet. But if you did that, you kind of limited yourself away from the other cool classes that were being put out there and stuff. So
yeah. I don't know. Yeah, like I forgot about races, but that's a huge one because it's like I really want to play an Eladrin. Well, then
LB made it. Good job, LB.
Oh, that LB.
I heard there might be a little bit of a video with LB and Jordan in the works.
It is currently being edited along with all of my other video. But no, we recorded it.
That you pay a lot of money to get on the job.
Yeah, that's me. I pay me no money to work well into the night. It's always Tuesday night. I'm like, it's 11 o'clock at night. I should be asleep. I got to finish this video. A lot of work goes into this channel, both this one and the PH channel. So thank you for subscribing, sharing with your friends, and all that other stuff. Rime of the Frostmaiden, something is brewing in the world of Dungeons & Dragons. I don't know if you heard about this, but we've talked about it a little bit, but there are these black obelisks kind of like scattered through the various adventures of Dungeons & Dragons. There's one in Tomb of Annihilation. I think there's one in Storm King's Thunder. There's one in Out of the Abyss, I think. And apparently there's one in Rime of the Frostmaiden. And this one in Rime of the Frostmaiden, some people have been getting advanced copies, and they're kind of talking about some early stuff that it's going to explain the existence of these black obelisks a little bit more. Oh, there's one in Dungeon of the Mad Mage, actually. So maybe you'll come across this. There's a really cool, it has really cool effects. I won't spoil it. But they're all covered in abjuration magic and not really sure what they do, kind of a thing. But they have been sprinkled, and I think this is kind of fun that all these different Forgotten Realms adventures. Well, there might be a tie-in with the Demi-Lich god Vecna. And a lot of people are, elaborate, like, what does this mean? And all this other stuff. So I think 2021, they're going to take this, and Tasha's Cauldron of Everything is probably going to change a bunch of stuff. And I wonder if they're going to explain it story-wise with a big event involving this big bad villain of all time. So I've been researching a lot on Vecna since I heard about this.
5th edition. Yeah, that'd be cool.
And he hasn't been in 5th edition a lot. Vecna was a god in 4th edition, but he's not a god of the Forgotten Realms. He's a Greyhawk character. And so...
But touched in a lot of different areas of Forgotten Realms. Like he's shown up in lots of adventures in previous editions, or parts of him, or
well, and that's the thing.
Vecna's about him, or
the hand and eye of Vecna are they pop up everywhere, and they're really interesting magical items. And so, yeah, I don't know. So I've been doing a lot of research on Vecna. He's very interesting. He was the main antagonist for season 1 of Critical Role, I hear. Like, I think that was their last fight was against Vecna. So Vecna is interesting. And so
gets his hand, I think.
If you wanna Google, you can. I don't want to have any spoilers here, but some people have a lot of theories about these black obelisks and what it means for the future of the realms and the future of D&D in general, especially with the 50th anniversary coming up of Dungeons and Dragons. Like, there could be big shake-up stuff happening with the big 5-0.
That'd be fun.
So
if they did that, I would love it. I would love it if they just came out with something totally out of left field for 50th.
Yeah. You know what I want? I don't want 6th edition, but I do. I do want Spelljammer. But no, I would like, what if they made a big, have you heard of epics? Yeah, where you have like a room full of, 100 people, all at different tables of 6 or something, and then everyone's playing a similar adventure that affects a main story in the beginning. I want Wizards of the Coast to release like an Adventures League epic where, I'm
the
in
DMs send in sheets what their groups did.
Exactly.
And they compile that, and the story is getting
exactly.
affected by it.
And so the next day, they're like, okay, this is what happened based on what all of these did. And California, you guys came out of left field, and you got the Ring of Winter, and that would be so fun and really bring a lot of people together. Like, oh, Australia, you totally, stopped this, and it was so cool. Like, I think that would be really fun. Hit out of left field, New Zealand with the surprise catch.
Yeah,
anyway.
Saves the world. They throw the ring in the volcano.
Oh, that's all you had to do. But the ring is mine. That's what they said.
Love it.
So yeah, that's the news, basically. There's not a lot of news. Yeah. We're going to have way more news next week with not only Rime of the Frostmaiden being released on Tuesday, but there's going to be the D&D celebration.
The D&D celebration stuff and seeing what's going on. Yeah.
I'm
definitely going to check out stuff here and there.
Did you pre-order Rime of the Frostmaiden? Or are you going to wait?
No, I was just going to go pick it up.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, you get it at the game store.
Yeah,
I got it both
at the brick and mortar.
I got it both on Amazon and D&D Beyond. So I think Saturday or Tuesday morning, I'll probably be at work, like working on this screen and reading Rime of the Frostmaiden on that screen.
Yeah. I want that one on the shelf because I like the artwork on that one. That one's good.
This brings us to the wonderful part of our show where I never have.
You don't have it ready.
I don't have it ready.
I get it.
Yeah.
I don't either.
Nobody does. I have a record scratch ready because that's what I was using a couple weeks ago.
That's going to show up in a video. Nice.
Showed up in... no, I did a record scratch in last Wednesday's video. It was really funny. I can see you watch my channel, Lucian. I'm really excited that you are,
I did.
Oh, did you watch
that?
One?
Most of it. Yeah, well, I do like all your fans. We watched like the first 4 minutes, and then we're just. No, I'm kidding.
And then we're bored.
You know how YouTube statistics are. That's what they always tell you. It's like, hey, somebody watched your video for 30 seconds, and then they.
Yeah. You. Gotta keep that audience retention rate. I don't even have the MP3. I don't even know where it is. So, Bardic inspiration.
Mine. Yes.
Hit it. Very sorry to our wonderful.
Thank you again, Taylor, for that.
Person. Yes. Sorry, Taylor. I will find the MP3 and save it in a place. It's going to be great. Actually, I should just put it in OBS and then
I keep it in Discord, and I just scroll up and I hit it from Discord and it plays. And
well, where is it in Discord? Because that's where I was looking for it.
It's on the live show.
Live show chat.
And it's only just
scrolled up.
Yeah, just a tiny bit.
Oh, see, I'm too far up. Beetle and Grimm's, and then Taylor. There it is.
Just above. Yeah,
just
above. So if you want to be able to hear that little ditty or one of the other ones that Taylor created, you too can go to the Discord. Check it
out. Links in the description for our Discord. I'm gonna save that and add it to where it needs to go. What were you bardically inspired with this week? These 2 weeks you had to think about this. It better be good.
Yeah. Well, how did your guys' last week's bardic inspiration go?
Yeah, we didn't do it. Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Yeah, we were so enamored by the OSR.
Well,
that's what we were
I
bardically
did
inspired.
have a lot of fans contact me and say that I should not miss any more shows because anytime I do that, all Jordan talks about is OSR.
Yeah.
So I have to contractually make all the rest of the shows.
Saturday morning OSR show.
Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah. But just teasing Jordan aside, as he did I did watch the whole show. It was super funny to listen to you and Lex talk about stuff, and it was good. You guys had a couple of good other show ideas in there I thought was pretty fun. But I was inspired by something called Gladiator Games campaign. And I was thinking about a campaign that was based around your players were going to be a gladiator team that was going to fight in Coliseum games. And the whole thing was based off of what types of games came up and what things changed or what kinds of things they would do to keep the audience into it. You would have maybe you could introduce some type of fame score or thing that they're doing. The rewards are about money and prestige and things, and you could have them tour maybe some different coliseums, and you could turn it into like a lot of different routes that you could go with it based around being some type of gladiators of some sort. So some type of fighting games that an audience would watch. I thought was a really cool idea. And I just thought, that'd be really fun, because not only as a dungeon master could you come up with all of the ins and outs of the other gladiator teams, but think of just the sessions, right? Mm-hmm. You're setting your maybe keep it at 4 players up, but you get to fight them with 4 specially made other characters and basically almost do like a PvP battle against gladiator teams. And then you might do one that's a little bit more co-op, where maybe a couple of gladiator teams come together and they have to fight a big monster as a big show. Somebody captures the dragon, puts the dragon in the Colosseum because they want to do it for the emperor's birthday or something weird. They do crazy stuff besides just the fighting of the teams and stuff. Yeah. So I thought you could have a really fun, and you could take it pretty dark, and you could keep it with, go watch Gladiator, go watch Spartacus, go watch some of those other movies on HBO and those series, and go kind of a dark, gritty route. You could go a more fun route with an Acq Inc. version of it, where you have you guys are wearing jerseys and maybe you're playing some form of a football game or a foosball, soccer, whatever game you want to call it, basketball game or whatever. But it has fighting in it, and it has, full contact, and you could do a roller derby show inside, and you're a roller derby team that does, and you could really create some really fun, different, cool games and environmental effects and weird places they're going to fight, so you can come up with a lot of that kind of stuff. Puzzles, or maybe maybe the teams for one season have to go through a maze, and it's about how fast they can get through it, and they score points and time, and they get cool stuff. So I really thought that could be an interesting way if you talk to your players and really got them to buy in.
Yeah. So you're doing 2 things is what it sounds like. There's a sports ball aspect of we need to score these points, but I also need to I don't know, that's a control wizard's dream. I feel like, let me just spider web the whole floor, toss me the ball, I'm going to levitate over here. That would be fun. I like combats that have more than one objective, because so many times it's like your objective is just, kill the other player or kill the other monsters or take them out. And when you add that level of I need to take these guys out, but that lava is getting really high, or I need to take these guys out, but that door's closing, and I also need to get on the other side of that door. How do I? And so then that's where creative play comes in, and you're not looking at your character sheet as a list of, here are the things that I can do. Instead, you're just like, can I make an athletics check to do this? And you're like, yeah, that's cool. So that's where I feel really interesting D&D, or really interesting D&D. Where I feel really interesting. Play comes in.
Well, and fans of the show who would have remembered, I did do a little Coliseum kind of fight in my campaign where I had each of the players fight one of the other players, and they were in a tournament trying to vie for a prize. And that as a DM could be interesting, where you're more of like a judge, and you're letting two of your players face off in an arena and battle it out with their skills and their turns, and maybe take their initiative rolls and roll them, maybe change a couple of things, put in some environmental effects, change initiative that you roll at the beginning of each turn to see who goes first. Don't just have it set once and then you stay with it. Maybe make it a little bit more random, and then have them duel to see who's going to be, the top of the chain. And then you go back to what you're doing, but they're always thinking in the back of their head, if I've got to fight this guy, he beat me last time because he had that really good backstabbing damage or something. I got to find a way to mitigate that damage. I'm going to do something, if they know. And so you could really base a really fun sports kind of franchise game and keep it fun. You could go gritty and dark, that you could really explore some of the underground of pit fighting. And because like in Waterdeep, they have the off time activity that you can do, downtime activity that you can do.
One of them is pit fighting.
Yeah. And sometimes you could roll a dice, you find out what's happening. You could maybe make up a cool story about it. But what if your campaign was about that? That was the thing, these pit fights that happen in Waterdeep. Maybe there's a fight club circuit going on in Waterdeep that every Friday night, every 10-day, there's a new place, a new warehouse, a new set of foes, and bang, you're into it. So I just thought, just an interesting Bardic inspiration that popped up. It came up, funny enough, if any of you out there are Minecraft fans, and when I watch Minecraft, I watch Etho. He's my favorite YouTuber out there, and they were building a arena to play in Minecraft so that they could fight each other and do some stuff. And that's what cool. Got my wheels kind of burning along. I'm like, we could do that at D&D. It'd be so good. And I did just break the first rule of Fight Club. I'm talking about it too much, in fact, because I know Jordan probably has a Bardic inspiration for us. He wouldn't let us down 2 weeks in a row without a Bardic inspiration.
Not at all. I don't know why you're even insinuating that things like that could happen. I had I'm sorry. I'm trying to do too many things at once. Bardic inspiration. Was talking with my Rod of Seven Parts players after the show one day. So we finished the show, but we always chat for like another half hour. Sometimes it's fun. And Ted from Nerd Immersion brought up that there's a misprint in the Wildmount book. And I don't know if you saw this, but there's a whole city in Wildmount, but the measuring stick at the bottom that tells you how far things are in actual space is in miles instead of feet. So all of a sudden, this boat, if you take that and actually measure it, the boat that's in the harbor is the size of the UK, United Kingdom. Nice. And so we were laughing about that, and he ended up making a funny clickbaity video about it. It was fun. But we were laughing about that, but that's what got me thinking is not that you get shrunk down, but World 4 of Super Mario Brothers 3, I think, is Giant Land. And what if you did go to another plane or something where it's no, it's literally Faerun, except everything's just huge. And maybe the planet's bigger, maybe it's not. So maybe it is just people take a step and they go to the next one. But I liked the idea of a ship the size of the UK. And you're just where are we? What is happening? Maybe there's giant people there, maybe there's not. But running around as a smaller version of yourself or as a small version in a large place brings, problems. And you're I don't know how to get up these stairs. And I don't know how to do this. That's such a great
relevant thing, because right now on Steam, just a week or two ago, I bought a game called Grounded. And it's about 4 kids who were shrunk down in their backyard and have to try to figure out what's going on because now they're smaller than ants in their backyard. And it is a beautiful looking game. It's a fun game to play. It's all that Honey, I Shrunk the Kids kind of thing. But that also made, when you were saying that, made me think of Acq Inc., how they started that first session of the C team. He shrunk them down in the inn, and they had to figure out what was going on. And the cat was a problem, and they're mice, and they're doing all kinds of cool stuff, and trying to get from one place to another was really hard because the distances now are so big. And that's such a fun, exciting thing to think about, and even as a kid, you would be out in your backyard and think about, boy, what would it be like if I was the size of a ladybug in your backyard looking at, whatever. So very cool.
If you ever play the adventure in the Acquisitions Incorporated book, you get to go through that process.
There you go.
I think it's called the test market. And when we played through it, it was a lot of fun because we came in and all of a sudden we're just like, what? We're in like a magical tavern. And then we started, like the tavern started growing and we're like, what? And then the cat came out and we had to figure out what we're doing. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Intern test for Acq Inc.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Very fun.
So I've never done that. And there's a DCC Lankmar module that I have that is similar, where you get shrunk down and you have to deal with it. But I don't know. I like this idea of like a really huge boat. Yeah.
Go to Steam and look at Grounded and just watch the video that they play there. I bought the game. It's so fun to goof around and play in.
Hashtag not sponsored by Grounded.
Very good. But we would like to be hashtag.
Yeah, if you want to sponsor the Saturday Morning D&D show.
I want to use hash browns. I'm hungry. So that was Bardic Inspiration.
Yeah.
You guys let us know your Bardic Inspiration, or now that we've given you a couple of ideas, you guys run with it and tell us how you ran with it or how you would do it, or maybe another idea that you got because you heard that one, but then it gave you this other idea. So put those in the comments and let us know. Keep that conversation running because we love to hear all those things. When I go back to those videos, I love reading through there and just finding other people's ideas that they had for campaigns or games that they can run.
What's the best class for a miniature campaign like that? Like if you were tiny.
Ooh, well, you need something with mobility. You're gonna need to be tough because everything's super strong.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like
ant would tear you apart.
What if you're a wizard and you shrink down, but you cast enlarge self on you, and so you're like. Maybe
you're
still small, but you're like hobbit sized, maybe. I don't know. Like,
oh, you're gonna get that big. Okay, gotcha.
I don't know. It depends on how small.
I would assume you go from the size of like a dime to the size of a quarter. Maybe it would be.
Okay.
Your spell just goes. Oh shoot! Did not do what I thought it was gonna.
That would be funny. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like. I guess. Well, I don't know. It depends on the situation. If you're, traveling, you want a ranger. If you're not, you want to do other stuff. But
I think I'd want to be a rogue so I could hide a lot because I think you're going to need to hide a ton if you're that small.
Yeah, that's true. Running into the last part of our show, we talk about our games that we are playing. Lucian is playing Dungeon of the Mad Mage. What is going on with your
Well, I did have a question. I mean, we got plenty of time, but I did have one question that popped up while we were talking in the news that I was going to ask. Me and you've read through Tasha's. We've seen what we think is going to be in it. We kind of understand there's
I'm going to stop you before there's lots of comments. We have not read through Tasha's. We have no early access.
We've read through the rumors of what's going to be in it. Yeah, we've analyzed it. We've listened to all of the people that have inputted in on what we think is going to be in it. Do you think at this point, now having everything that we have, there's any class that's missing? Have we finally covered everything where you would have said, man, I wish we had this in a book and we still don't have it. But after Tasha's out, is there anything you can think of class-wise, subclass-wise, that you think, we still don't have one of these and I've been waiting for one, or I've been wanting to make one, or I did make one and I put it on the DMsGuild. But is there anything not covered for you at this point? And this is just Jordan, purely Jordan. There's been a character you keep waiting for them to create that they haven't created or something.
Pathfinder has a summoner. And I think with the Conjuration Wizard and the new upscale Conjuration spells, I might be able to build and fill that niche, but the actual summoner in Pathfinder is very, like you have a linked pet that you've kind of made a warlock pact with that fights with you and for you, and you augment it just as much as it augments you. And it's a relationship as opposed to just I summon something and you go fight for me kind of a thing. And I think that's really what I feel is missing. And I don't know.
So even though we have the artificer with a couple of pets, we've got the ranger and you can do pets. We've got spellcasters who could get the spell to do pets.
Yeah.
Summoners
we'll see if the pets get updated for ranger. And And there's the Summoner Druid. There's Circle of Shepherd. But they've never really... I guess I just keep picturing the art in my head of this like spellcaster summoner, and I loved Summoner was my favorite class in Final Fantasy, specifically Final Fantasy 11. I played mostly Summoner. I loved that class until Puppet Master came out, and then I played Puppet Master because I like pets. But again, talking about could I solve that with a magic item? Do I need to have a whole class that is wrapped around this? And I really don't. I could literally have you get a bracelet that attunes you to this creature, and now you have it as a mount. You can have it attack. You can do all this other stuff with it. You can see through its eyes. Like the things that I want to do, I could probably create a magic item around that. So I don't. Yeah, I don't know what's missing. I guess it's a tough question that you proposed, but I would have to say that I want a full-on summoner class. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think the reason I even brought it up was I was wondering, have we hit that inflection point of they've given us enough to work with that we can make all of our possible character dreams come true? Or do we still need another book or two before we hit that point? As I was wondering, are we at that point yet? Have we finally gotten there? Because I mean, Xanathar has brought us close with a lot of those really cool subclasses. And now with Tasha's, that's bringing us really close with all of these other subclasses coming in. So we're finally getting there, but maybe we still need one more book, or maybe because after this, if they're going to do another book of subclasses, let's say next year at the end of the year, or what are they going to give us? What are we going to get? I mean, just imagine that, because we have so much to choose from now. So that's where I was going when I was thinking about in the news. I was going to ask, but I didn't.
Yeah, no, it's a really good question. It's really interesting. I feel like a lot of the subclasses, they take an idea from one and shift it over to another. Like College of Whispers really makes the bard more roguey. And this wild magic barbarian makes the barbarian kind of sorcery. And so there's going to be a point where it's like we can't steal mechanics from other classes anymore. And when we do that, what's going to happen? Like all of a sudden we have the paladin bard or something like that. And, like it's, I don't know.
So the one I was thinking that I don't think we have yet, but like you said, we could do it with a DM could still do it. We could do it with magic items. We could come up with our own rules to do it. But I still feel like one thing we're missing is the transformation class for I'm going to be a werewolf, or I'm going to be a vampire. I'm going to be half vampire. I'm going to be half werewolf.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a daywalker. I'm going to be maybe I'm half mind flayer. Maybe I'm half something supernatural creature wise that I could do transformations into at certain times. Maybe there's things about that happen, full werewolf kind of play, full vampire kind of play without unbalancing the game or
I think we're going to see prestige classes at some point, and I think those will be lumped in with prestige classes.
Oh, somebody's saying werewolves and vampires are in Tasha. Unconfirmed. I don't know if that's true. Somebody said beast barbarian. That's kind of going a little bit that direction where, maybe you can turn into almost like a werebear, or I just thought a whole class based on the were would be cool, because you could, at certain levels, you could get were rat, were boar, were tiger, were bear, were orca. I don't know, were whatever.
Yeah.
So I think
were castle. Kind of... No. There wolf. There castle.
Were Tarask.
So that's spooky. That cursed. I did a DMsGuild supplement that somebody wrote called cursed classes, and they have like were creatures in that. So It's a possible thing. I always felt that it needed to be like you could ghosts. There's only I like the idea of like there's only 5 levels of vampire. And so that's why I say prestige class, where you could take those 5 levels, but after that it's like, well, now you're a maxed out vampire. You're as strong as a vampire is going to get, but you could still be a fighter. You could still be a anything. But that has defined you for these 5 levels, and now you are forced to multi-class into bard or something. Yeah. Or it makes more sense to me if I am a level 10 bard and I get bit by a vampire. I now have I've unlocked the option to take 5 levels of vampire, or I could try and suppress that. But just the act of biting me gave me 1 level. And now it's like, well, now I'm level 11, but I'm a level 10 bard, level 1 vampire. I could either jump into this head first, or I could like, well, I'm going to go back to bard and I'm going to try and fight this.
Yeah.
And that's a whole quest where it's like, I want to get rid of this level of vampire and take a level of bard instead. And I don't know, that's a mechanical way of making it kind of interesting. So to me.
And that kind of leads into a little bit about my game that we played. One of our players got bit and failed their save for the were-rat, and is about to contract that were-rat disease and be about all that were-ratness.
That's fun.
And it's really funny in our game because the player that got bit and failed also hates with a passion were-rats and kills them on sight, starts fights with them the minute he sees them or knows they're there. Has been a
fitting
genocide of were-rats, and then has gotten bit and is about to become one.
Yeah.
So it was quite the funny session of what's been going on with that. For our Dungeon of the Mad Mage, we were on the second level. We're deep into the second level, but we still got quite a bit to uncover. So we've still got a ways to go. Some of these levels are huge. The maps are humongous, but we're getting through them and having some fun. So that's been good. And that's kind of where the whole were thing came up from. Although I'd love to play like a werewolf in a Dungeons and Dragons game. The idea that maybe it may be one that you don't control very well. Maybe it comes and goes, or maybe you have to roll and you make saves to make sure you don't change at the wrong time, or or whatever. Just add some complication into it. That could be super fun. So it could be very interesting. But what about... That was my games. We've been deep dungeon delving. I'm thinking we're getting close to leveling up pretty soon. So I don't know if next show or the show after that, I'll be able to come back and say, I think I'm going to be multi-classing to cleric. So I can talk a little bit about that, which would be fun. But
what's your current class?
Right now I am a fighter, but I went arcane archer. So I am a super sharpshooter longbow dude that's drilling out the damage at the moment.
Yeah.
My dungeon master hates me for sure.
That's interesting that you want to go to cleric though. I thought that's kind of yeah.
Well, here's what it is. I have nothing to do that's non-bow based, because everything up into this point, up into these levels, is shoot your longbow. So every answer I have is shoot my longbow, no matter what it is. Okay. So I was thinking that now I could start to move into something that is other than shoot the longbow, whatever's happening.
That makes sense.
And I thought, and then I wanted to do, it's an Aarakocra is the class I'm playing.
Yeah.
And I thought I wanted to play one that's left the idea of flying is great and worshiping air and sky gods and that kind of thing, and has gone underground and finds that maybe he likes that more than the open sky, which would be anathema to the Aarakocra tribes, right? That would just be something that wouldn't fly at all, pun intended, for them. And so I thought that might be a cool, fun angle to kind of route through. So. But what about Jordan's Rod of the Seven Parts? You've got a few minutes you can tell us about this little campaign you've been running.
Heck yeah. Man, Rod of Seven Parts is really, really fun. Every time I DM, honestly, but like with this game too, I tried different things. So this was one of the games where I'm like, I'm going to try theater of the mind, because I always use a grid and I like having a grid and things like that. And a couple episodes ago, I tried riddles. So my players had to go through a couple of riddles, and that was fun to see them like in character be like, oh, I don't know. And then they're like sending me messages in chat and they're just like, what the hell, Jordan? Like, what do we do? And I'm like, figure it out. Like, and so we did a riddle game, which was fun. And then after the riddles, this next game, I wanted to do kind of an old-fashioned dungeon crawl. So they're in an extra-dimensional plane space area that is a giant graveyard with a temple to an evil deity they think in the center, and they're not sure which deity it is. It is, but it is basically a dungeon for them to explore. And they ran into a couple of devils and they ran into some other stuff. So they're trying to piece this together. But playing through that, we realized that they don't have any spatial really recognition of where they are, what's going on. So I told them that next Wednesday, I'm going to make a Roll20 game just so they can see. We're not going to play it on a grid.
Combat. Come on.
Yeah. I was like, we're not going to play it on a grid, but I think they need to understand what's around them.
Just build the map, Jordan.
Yeah.
Just do the map. It's so much fun.
Part of me was like, I think I will build something because, and I also think I might buy the dynamic lighting because I like that too. But now we're getting into, I haven't built overlays to play that on Twitch, and it doesn't play well as a podcast. So
it's a big job, if you do it. But it's so fun when you do.
It is. So we're gonna play around with that, and I think it'll be good. So we're gonna do that. So if you're interested about that, join me next week, or not next week, but join me tomorrow on Twitch, the same time as this show, and I will be working on Wednesday's Rod of Seven Parts game, which I'm really excited about. So Rod of Seven Parts is going really well. They're searching for the 6th rod fragment. I can't get my players to put the rod fragments together. They're almost too scared to do that. But the thing is, I can't believe
that because you have LB in that group. I would just imagine that if there's a button, she would push it.
You would think so, but I'm like, do you guys, I was literally like, you have the money, you have some downtime. Do you want to put the rest of the rod fragments together? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, sweet. All right. But they literally get super powerful the more you connect them. And there is a chance that something could go wrong and they don't know that. But if I was there, I'm just like, I want to know what happens when I connect more of them together. So we'll see when they get the 6th fragment what they do with it. And then they have the 7th one to get, and then the game's going to be over. And I've been thinking a lot.
They get the 7, and we're done.
Yeah, and there's probably a fight. Who knows? But I'll have to read the end of the adventure. I haven't got that far. But I've been thinking a lot about the next thing, and I wonder if we'll keep going. There's maybe Lex, maybe Ted want to actually run a game. That would be kind of fun. Or if I want to run something else.
Stay together.
So I don't know, because we all really like each other and we have a lot of fun, and it's been like, this was an experiment, but now that we're at the end of it, or towards the end of it, I just I don't want to stop playing with these people because they're really fun. So we'll see.
That's good. That is the sign of a good campaign, is that even though an ending might be in sight, you're already thinking about, I still want to play with all these people, and I can't wait for whatever next campaign we think about doing. Maybe it's these characters, maybe it's not, but it's just that fun playing with you. That's the kind of group we have right now with our Tuesday night game. It's just, it wouldn't matter what game we were playing. It's just the idea that we're all together and playing has been really fun and good.
Yeah. Which is fun because LB's talked about it, and I know Lex is down, but there was talk of us playing some Dungeon Crawl Classics, and I know I know I'm the D&D guy, but that would be a lot of fun to stream some DCC, especially with those players, because I know that they would have a fun time with it. So yeah, take a drink, Danimal. He's talking about DCC again.
Yeah,
that's the new joke, is that whenever I bring up Dungeon Crawl Classics, you have to take a drink because it's a Saturday morning D&D show
drinking game.
Yeah, although I'll be having
Saturday
coffee.
morning, which is the other part of the joke.
But if you're in Australia, it's either really early or really late.
4 a.m. or something. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he can drink. That's fine.
Late.
That's fine.
Super late.
Fun in the sun. Well, and then Wild Mount is happening. I'll talk more about that next week, maybe, with because I'm playing tonight. Should be a lot of fun. But I am really enjoying Wild Mount. And I will say this because I don't know the world and the lore, and so it's been fun to just be like, oh, you mean they don't like dwarves? And it just blows my mind. I'm like, oh, that's
sit
fun.
Back and not know.
Yeah, because I don't have pre-existing things of oh yeah, the drow are evil. Drow might not be evil. This is a completely different world. So I like that a lot. It's been fun, and it has also inspired me to create my own campaign that I've been working on. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. We're gonna walk out of here like classy men. And just, I hung up some more stuff too. That's nice, huh? Anyway, we're gonna drop the mic and walk out of here. Anything else before we take off, sir?
No, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, tell your friends, go to those comments, keep that conversation going, because we want to hear what you guys are doing out there. Tell us about your games. Tell us about all the cool stuff you're doing. Tell us about those Kickstarters you're doing.
Yeah.
Let us know about that stuff too, because I've already signed up for a couple. I like to do one a month. And I've been finding some good ones out there. So I'm excited.
I did the old school essentials.
That one looked really good.
Yeah. The art and the books and it will look really cool. And I think that one ended. But I backed that, and I'm really excited for that. And I have a Empire of the East DCC Kickstarter coming in, and some RPG tarot cards. Lots of cool stuff. Let us know. Again, Apple, iTunes reviews. Tell your friends. The best way to help the show is word of mouth. So if you have people that are interested in D&D, and join us next week as we will talk a lot about Rime of the Frostmaiden. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.